this is the segment for you to watch. If you like outlandish views, if you like unfiltered conversations, if you like deep and meaningful conversations, if you like hearing different perspectives, if you like unfiltered conversations, did I say that already? I don't know. But anyway, if you like raw, if you like unfiltered, if you like vulnerability, this is definitely the video for you to be watching. Don't act like you've got anything better to do right now. We're on a lockdown, okay? Come and waste your time with me. It's not really a waste of time, to be quite honest, because any time spent with me is clearly not a waste of time. I mean, come on. We're going to talk, you know. This is just a segment where I'm going to be talking about whatever comes to my mind. I'm going to talk about. If you like those kind of vibes, make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like. So the other day, you guys probably saw this, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw this. So the other day I woke up and I just had so much anxiety, and then I woke up and I just thought, okay, you know what, we're not going to let this anxiety get to us today. Like today we want to feel good, we want to do nice things for ourselves, we want to self-care, we want to eat good food, we just want to spend the whole day doing things that make us feel good. So literally I went to shower, it was probably like around 7 or 8. I went to shower, got dressed, I went to the shops, so I did my grocery shopping, right, for the meal that I wanted to cook that night. I also bought things for my bubble bath because I wanted to have like a really beautiful, luxurious bubble bath. You know, I bought some new wine glasses because I just felt like, I'm so sick and tired of drinking wine from the same wine glass. Like, I want to buy new ones. So I bought like my set of wine glasses. So these are the ones that I got, right? And then bought stuff for my fruit bath because I wanted to have like a fruit bubble bath, you know, because of the added benefits. Gets rid of the toxins in your body, it refreshes you, refreshes your skin, etc. Helps you to relax and release the stress out of your muscles. So I wanted all that. I wanted all that good because I wanted to go to bed feeling good and then wake up not feeling so anxious. So anyway, I set the table for my family, you know, I did everything. I went extra. There were like napkins, like nice plates, like, you know, even made like a nice mocktail for them to drink.
Obviously my parents don't drink alcohol and I don't drink alcohol either, and nobody in my family, like none of the kids, drink alcohol because we don't, okay? We listen to our parents don't like alcohol, they don't like people that drink, so we are not like that. We do not drink in my family, so we don't drink in front of my parents. Everyone was finished. I was such a good, like, Proverbs. You know how there's Proverbs 31? Let me explain this to you. There's Proverbs 31, right? Which is like the woman that is explained in the Bible, right? There's a woman of Proverbs 31. That day, I surpassed her. Do you understand me? I surpassed her. I was literally like Proverbs 99.
I finished, you know, we ate and everything. I had fun with my family. I was feeling good, feeling very, very good, like very happy, very motivated, and I couldn't wait for my self-care. You know, I boiled my lemons and ginger, getting them ready for my bath. I did the dishes, left the kitchen spotless, mopped, broomed, everything. You know, I was just really setting my day to like the moment where I would be in my bath, relaxing, thinking about all good things and nothing else. You know, I finished all that. You know, I get ready, I set myself up. You know, I had my laptop there, I had my music there, you know, I had my candles everywhere, literally like my candles were just lying around. I had my bath, like I did my dried flowers, my petals, literally everything. It was just like mwah. You know, I had my bottle of red wine ready for me and my book as well. So, you know, I switch off the lights, I put the Epsom salt in there in like the cold water, like nice cold water. It just looks like Jarias, it just looks like I'm in a spa. It just looks beautiful, you know. So here I am, you know, I soak myself in, I put my music on, so I read my book while the music is going in the background, and I'm drinking my wine, I'm feeling good. I just feel like, oh girl, listen, oh look at you. And then at some point I was like, oh, let me change it up, like let me switch it up. So I switched it up, you know, I had like my little jazz music playing at the background, and then my poetry. I'm forgetting who I was listening to, but I know I'm listening to my poetry. I'm sitting there, I feel good, I feel nice, you know, everything is just perfect at this moment. So as I'm lying, you know, I just sort of dip myself a little bit, into the water, yeah? So I'm lying there, I'm like holding my wine glass, and I'm just thinking, wow, this is so beautiful. And then,
Tell me why.
In that moment of such beauty, in that moment of feeling so great about myself, in that moment of feeling so good about every part of my life, my mind had to go ahead and ruin it and remind me that I am single and remind me that I feel lonely in that moment. Please help me understand that. You know, I'm just lying there, and then like next thing I know, it just popped into my head. I was like, this feeling of this disgusting, stupid feeling of feeling lonely. And I was just like, I feel lonely. And I'm like, game over. You know, being single is so much fun, and I am so pro taking your time and being single right now, because I've spent a lot of time trying to be picked by somebody that I genuinely at the moment in my life just don't care to get picked, and I just want to have fun in my life. I just want to be single and to be purposely single. Hold on. So the thing is this, right? Sometime last year, I think it was about October, I made a decision. I said to myself, you know what? I actually want to be single up until 30. Like, I want to work on myself. I want to date, obviously, but I want to date for experience more than anything else. I want to have fun. I just want to figure me out. I want to find out what Rumbi likes. Like, what does Rumbi like? Like, what do you like, babe? Like, kind of a person do you want to date? What kind of a person are you? Like, all those different things. I wanted to find out. I wanted to self-date. So at the beginning of the year, when I did my vision board and everything, when I did my goals and prayed over them or whatever, I just say to God, listen, this year I am begging you, do not send anyone. Don't let them smile at me. Don't let them walk past me with beautiful perfume. Don't let them show their muscles at me. Don't let them be funny towards me. I just don't want none of that mess. I don't want it. And this kuda goreri no. And this kuda. You know, I just told God, and I was like, God, just don't bring your sons over here. I'd watched all these videos that talk about, you know, how to be purposely single, what to do when you're purposely single. So I had my plan. I was going to self-date. If you've been following me on Instagram from the beginning of the year, you've probably seen me taking myself out, which I normally do anyway, even prior. But then now I was doing it more consistently, you know, I get dressed up, I look pretty, I wear my heels, I wear my sexy dress, I feel good in myself, and I take myself out. So I don't understand how in the 3 weeks that we were just at home, all of a sudden there's feelings of, I actually miss having a boyfriend came from. Like, why? Jaita say, you know, people always talk about being purposely single, waiting on God to deliver your wife or your husband, but no one ever really talks about the other side of doing that. The loneliness that sort of just creeps up on you while you're in a bathtub enjoying your night alone. I don't get that. Like, ugh, this ain't cute. And to be honest, I don't even think this is something that I was even thinking about like in the last 2 months or whatever. I think it's just been in the last month of being on lockdown at home. It's the fact that we're on lockdown. It's the fact that, you know, you're at home and you're probably not socializing with people as much as you would, and then everybody else is sort of locked up with their families and like their loved ones and etc. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when you get into these situations, you always start talking to God. Like, you can ignore God for 3 months, and then as soon as a problem comes up, you're like, Mari, we need to talk. You know, I was literally in the bathtub asking God, like, God, what is wrong with me? Like, how come? Like, why haven't you found me somebody yet? Like, why does it have to take this long? Like, please, God, just send him my way. Please, God, he doesn't even have to be perfect. Please, God, if you were trying to shape him from me, just send him. I can do the rest. Like, it's okay, God. Send him half-made. It is fine, God. So if you're single, you're probably feeling it more this time around because everybody's together. It's pretty much the same way that people feel like when it's like Valentine's Day or Christmas, because everyone who's coupled up does like Christmassy things. So that's probably what it is. But here's the thing, like what frustrates me so much about those feelings is that they're so temporary, and unfortunately a lot of the times you actually would end up getting into a relationship simply because you are feeling lonely. And it's like no one likes to admit that loneliness is part of that whole waiting period, that dealing with loneliness is part of you wanting to be purposely single. Obviously all these things sound great when you're saying it, right? But let me tell you what sis was doing. Let me tell you. I'm literally like sitting in the bathroom, like crying, going through my list of the boys that I know or that I would even consider, and I'm like, nah, but no, God, no, oh, but no, maybe, but God, no. You know? And that's the thing about loneliness, like that's the thing about feeling lonely, like it's literally temporary. And if you actually like in that moment of loneliness, if you're like a person was then to be presented to you and they're like, okay, well, since you're saying you're lonely, here's a boyfriend or here's a girlfriend, to be quite honest, you'll probably be like, oh no, I was joking, because it really is a temporary emotion. It really is like an emotion of the moment. It's important for you to be able to acknowledge that moment and to go, oh, okay, I see why I feel lonely, or okay, I do feel lonely, but then also not let that then influence you into getting into a relationship that you're probably not ready for, because we do that all the time. We do that a lot of the times. Like I've done that before, and I've been in a situation where because I was lonely, I didn't want to deal with it, I didn't want to acknowledge it, and I let that emotion of being lonely to really sit there and also fester in me. And then by the end, right, because I was letting it fester instead of dealing with it, by the end I would then go to like the lowest hanging fruit, like the next available person. I'll just attach myself to them because, well, I'm lonely and I want to be with somebody. But do you really want to be with somebody, or do you just miss certain things about being in a relationship with somebody? Like in that moment, I'm pretty sure what I was missing was just intimacy. Well, not intimacy isn't sexual, but like just intimacy of, oh, I wish I still had somebody to talk to. I wish I had somebody who's regular that I can talk to. It was probably just loneliness of, oh, I miss being hugged or cuddled or whatever, like little things like that. Like you're not missing like the actual person. Like you're not lonely because you actually need the person. You're lonely because you miss some of the things that come with being with a person. And I think that's probably what I was missing, the fact that most of my friends who are in relationships are quarantining with their baes or whatever, and then my mom and my dad are like doing little cutesy things, like staying up until 12 watching their Nigerian movies, and you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh well, actually nah, I miss that, I wish I could have that. And I think that's what we need to recognize sometimes. When you're single, you are going to have those moments of loneliness, but then you need to decide, okay, am I lonely because I actually want somebody, or am I lonely because I just miss certain things? Like I miss the communication, I miss the idea of having somebody with me, especially at this age. Like, that's such a regular conversation around that age group. Everyone talks about being single. Everyone either talks about how much it sucks, or everyone talks about how they're looking for somebody or waiting for somebody, or how hard it is to find somebody and stuff like that. So I went on house party and I was talking to my friends, right? And then as I was on house party, we're talking to my friends, we're having fun and whatever, there's different people start coming onto house party, because that's what the app is. So there's different people start coming into there's different people start coming into our house party and whatever. And honestly, on more than 5 occasions, people came in the house party. As we're talking as a group, something gets brought up where you end up finding out that, oh wait, this person is actually married. And there is nothing more frustrating for a person when you're single and you're not necessarily like, oh yeah, you could be looking, or you're just like single, or just actively single and wanting to date, to constantly realize that men who are married are also trying to leech and trying to because that then discourages you of marriage, that then discourages you of commitment. And for me, that's it just became like a week of realizing so many things about, oh snap, like my age group, it's so hard to date with the age group that I am in right now, because if you meet somebody who is over 35, there's always going to be a chance that that person might even be married. If you're lucky, they might tell you the truth and might say no, but then if you're not lucky, you might get lied to up until later on. So the whole week, like my whole weekend, because I did that on a Friday, I think I did that on a Friday, so my whole weekend I just then became so frustrated by the dating scene in this age group or within our generation at this time, just because you realize so many things. Like I'm turning 28 this year, so for me, obviously the people that I look to, that I think, okay, I'm gonna date somebody my age bracket, like anything above 35 for me, like now, right? So for me, that is such a different group of people, and the dynamics are always different. This week was the first time, I think, when I decided that I wanted to be purposely single, it was very much like romantic. It was like, I just want to self-date, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then once I'm done with doing that, I will find my person. And then I guess this last 2 weeks, I've been waking up to the reality of, oh snap, this is not going to be easy. Dating as adults is not easy. It's not. You're constantly being reminded that, you know, the pool isn't that big anymore, you know, that there isn't a lot of people to select from anymore, and that sucks. That actually contributes to you feeling lonely, that contributes to you feeling frustrated in your singleness, that contributes to you feeling like, oh snap, should I just have picked somebody? The other day, you know, I was on a group with my friends and stuff like that, because we always have like this really like good conversations, like good solid like vulnerable conversations, right? The group is a mixture of like boys and girls, and we just really like being vulnerable, like talking about real life stuff. So the other day the question was thrown towards me, and this is a question that a lot of you guys asked me as well last time when I did the dating series. Or would you ever get married, or are you comfortable, like would you ever get into a relationship, or would you ever allow yourself to get back to that space? You know, our views are always going to be different, so we were sharing our views and whatever. And then yesterday, funny enough, we're now in the same, and you know, so we were now talking about marriage, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about cheating and whatever. And so a lot of men feel like cheating is sort of a rite of passage for them. Like they feel like they're entitled to it. Like they don't feel like it's as outlandish as us women think. They don't think like it's a reason why you should break up a marriage. And for me, that's what gets frustrating sometimes. Like when I'm talking to the guys that I know, or if I'm hearing people like in general, like men talk about cheating, men talk about like, you know, the household and the marriage and what work goes into a marriage. And it always seems as though the work of a successful marriage is always left behind for the woman to do it. Like the whole moshamukazi, moshauka, or you know, moshauka putika, it's because mukazi angari weak. I feel like that's the norm. And then you go on these groups, like, you know, and that's the thing. You go on these women's groups on Facebook and you see what women are sharing about marriage. You see the replies. You know, somebody will share, oh, my husband is emotionally abusing me, and people will be like, it's okay, just go and pray. And those are the things for me that personally discourage me from wanting to get married, because it's not like a one-off situation. It's not like one in 10. It's literally like 50% of marriages end up in divorce, and we can't ignore that. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle with dating, because you know the statistics, you know what you've seen around, you also know what your friends are experiencing or what they experience, and then in the end you just feel like, well, is there really a point, you know? And I think when you're purposely single, you have to be careful to not let yourself get drowned out by that too much. I feel as though like when I was much younger, I used to approach dating with the mentality of I want to get married. So when I would meet a guy, like within like maybe like literally like within like 2-3 days of seeing him, I would have vetted out whatever I felt the need to vet out, which was very shallow. Now I know that was very shallow. I would look at him and be like, oh, his last name, okay, his last name was not nice with me, okay, he's a Christian, okay, he doesn't drink, okay, he doesn't smoke, okay, he does A, B, C, and D, okay, he has a job, yes, that's husband material. And it's like, you're not going to know what husband material is until you guys are in certain situations that expose whether that person is ready for marriage or not. And I think that's part of the dangers of dating sometimes when you date, especially like if you I don't know about you guys, but the way that I was raised in my Christian walk, number one, and also in the home that I grew up in, or in the culture that I grew up in, the way that I was raised was you don't date for experience, you date for the purpose of marriage. So you were supposed to look at someone from the beginning and think, okay, 1, 2, tick, okay, 1, 2, tick, 1, 2, tick, okay, this person is definitely marriage material. But yeah, I could tick all the boxes. But then now once we get into the marriage, like now once we're actually married, you realize, damn, even though she ticks these are the little boxes, we are actually not compatible marriage wise. So I think for me, when I was much younger, that's definitely how I used to date. I used to date for marriage, and every single guy that I went out with, and it was good because number one, it was good because I didn't end up having to go out with a lot of people. But then also number two, it then meant that I was so quick to judge the other guys that probably did not make it to the dating ring. simply because they did not match what I thought looked like husband material, simply because maybe they just didn't match what I was looking for at that time. That would add to them being a husband material, you know. Whereas now that I'm much older and I've been through the stuff that I've been through, and I've seen the stuff that I've seen, you know, and I'm experiencing life differently, I definitely now date for experience. And I think that the good thing about dating for experience is you don't attach the nervous or the anxious idea of marriage, or the anxious goal of marriage to your dating experience. So you're just able to date someone because, oh, I really like their vibe, oh, I really like them, oh, I've never dated a poet before, so I'm just gonna date him, I'll just see what it's like. And I feel like dating is so much nicer, and it's less anxious when it's like that. There's not that anxious energy from the beginning of, well, I hope we get married, you know, I'm with you because I want to get married to you, so I'm gonna get married to you. And I think one of the things that I found as well is that, you know, when you don't date for the sake of getting married, or when you don't date with the goal of, I'm dating you so that I can marry you with 2 years, and you're dating them because, oh, I'm dating you because I like you, I really love you, and I just want to find out what you like, and you know, if it leads to marriage, great. If it doesn't work out, that's okay as well, because I'd have had such a beautiful time with you. I think that one of the advantages of that is you don't spend so much time trying to shape this person to make them become what you want, but you spend a lot of time discovering them and trying to get to know who they are. I think we do that to each other, and the disservice of that is you spend so much time trying to make this person become probably what they might not be. And also then you realize that when people get out of a relationship, people are like, oh my god, I was so blind, I don't know why I married that person, I don't know why I said yes, I don't know why I got that ring, or I don't know why I ignored those red flags. You ignore the red flags because you're trying to force them into a picture. No, you ignore those red flags because you're trying to make that person fit into the end goal of what you want, which is marriage. And I think a lot of the times we spend so much time being in love with the idea of getting married, being in love with what marriage would look like with that person, instead of actually being in love with them in that moment and getting to know them. And then if marriage works out, if marriage ends up being the goal out of there, then that's fine. Maybe the goal isn't marriage, maybe the goal is just for you to have fun, maybe the goal is just for you to experience a level of love that you might never experience in your entire life again. Maybe the goal was just for you to experience something different, for you to be able to see the mirror, for you to experience somebody that was basically a mirror of yourself. For me, that's been the notable difference between how I used to date before and how I date now. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, that, you know, a lot of the times, you know, we don't really get to have these conversations honestly, because at the end of the day, no one wants to feel lonely. No one wants to admit that they're feeling lonely because they don't have a significant other in their life. But at the same time, I think, you know, loneliness is something that we all experience throughout our life, just because we're human beings, and you know, human beings thrive off connection, and we thrive off pretty much like all the levels of connection, like your friends, your family, your you know, romantic connections, and then your work connections. Like, we all need that to feel good about ourselves. So feeling lonely while you're single does not mean that you're desperate. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And I think that sometimes when you don't actually take time to reflect on how you feel, you might end up turning that against you and think that there's something wrong with you when there's actually nothing wrong with you. I know that, like, for me, when I get into those spaces, or when I have like those moments of loneliness, I always end up asking myself, like, Kochi, like, am I not pretty? Like, am I not good enough? Like, am I not this? And all those things. Like, it's normal to ask yourself those things, but I think if you don't also then back yourself up with valid answers, you're going to get to a place where you will lose confidence. I just wanted to make that video because I feel as though, you know, as people in general, we tend to lose our confidence. We tend to start feeling like we're not good enough just because we're not in a romantic relationship. Even though we might have good family, we might have good friends, we might be feeling good, like we might have everything else, but to be quite honest, like, society and as human beings anyway, we place so much value and validation on being in a romantic relationship. It's something nice. Do you need to depend on that? I don't think it's healthy for you to solely depend on, you know, feeling good because you're in a relationship, because then that then brings up other problems. I think there's nothing wrong with you having those moments where you feel like, oh, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Oh, well, am I likable? Am I not likable? And it's actually good for you to experience experience those moments, and then to take away those moments and think, okay, well, I actually want to find out if I'm good enough, and then do things for you to help you feel like you're good enough, or to confirm or to validate that you're actually good enough. I think it's important for you to self-date. I think it's important for you to understand that you're allowed to experience love. You're allowed to sort of date and experience different people, you know, to your standards, and obviously to your standards and to your rules and to your principles. If you're not but people saying they want to date doesn't automatically mean, oh, they want to go sleep around. You can date people and not sleep around with them. It's not always necessary to open up your legs or to, you know, to provide your service to a girl. It's not necessary. You can literally just date and get to know different people, get to know what you like, get to know yourself a little bit more, and I think you become a little bit more confident in the people that you pick as well. Anyway, that's all from me today, guys. I just want to get real about being single and what it currently feels like, you know, being single in COVID, you know, being stuck at home by yourself. It's, you know, it'd be getting lonely, it'd be getting sad a little bit, you know, to a point where you gotta eat a cake by yourself. I didn't eat it by myself. I'm just joking. I'm just, you know, for aesthetics. You guys a beautiful week. Anyways, bye guys. Hope you guys have a beautiful week. If you're not following my channel, make sure you are. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're not following me on social media, make sure you follow me on social media as well.